on the receiving end of one today.
Whoa, receiving end. Welcome to the Final Whistle, everybody. We're here at the Final Whistle. We're not receiving any ends right now, but this is what we do. We're the last show, the recap. We give you comedy, we give you sports, we give you everything with this crazy all-star panel here on the Bama Standard. I'm Matt Cadell. As you can see, my OnlyFans promo, keep it running in the backfield. And my co-host, one of the co-hosts of the show, Chris James. How you doing, Big Dan's big brother?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm just here so I won't get fined out.
Marshawn Lynch. And as you can see, we got Final Whistle Dan, the lead recruit analyst. How you doing, Final Whistle Dan?
Always good, man. Pumped and ready to go for another Tuesday night show, man.
I know. Glad to be here. Roll Tide. And we got around the table sports analyst through the haze himself, Mr. Ty Hayes. How are you doing, brother?
Man, can't complain. Excited to be here. And guys, before we kick off, ladies and gentlemen, if you're into the vintage Alabama merch, don't miss the home field drop Sunday, August 27th. Use code ATTS for 15% off your order.
Yes, nice. And everybody, we got the one and only Coach Smook in the building. Coach Smook, how you doing, sir?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. We literally days away from kickoff, bro. This is crazy. It's back already. It felt like it took forever, but it's back. So let's kick it off, man. Let's
kick it off. And we got our Final Whistle top fan, Lucian, in the building. How you doing, brother?
You know what? I'm just happy to be here. Excited to talk some Bama football, some real stuff.
Yeah, let's do it. Glad to have you here on the Final Wilson and everybody, the hardest working man in podcasts when it comes to Alabama content. The one and only Justin Riley. How you doing, sir? Co-founder.
Let me talk to you. We are the mega stars of Tide Nation. Whose game is it? With everybody saying the Final Whistle. Fellas, what is going on?
Man, I'm ready to rock and roll. I mean, what are we, 11 days away from kickoff? So let's get this thing started. Justin, what's you want me to lead off the first topic, or how do you
lead off the first topic. Let's get this, what we do at the beginning, have some fun, talk about some things that's happened in Bama Nation. Dan, Ty, y'all been keeping your eyes open as far as recruiting goes. We had a miss today. He decided to make a bad life decision and go elsewhere. And we had another decide he's going to postpone his announcement. But if you guys can kind of tell us what's going on so Alabama fans can kind of get in the know. Ty, if you start with that, and then Dan, you could follow up with what's going on, and we'll do this.
Yeah, so the Bama to Buford pipeline is no more. That's an exaggeration, but certainly a big win for Ohio State. Edric Houston was a guy that Alabama certainly wanted in this class for multiple different reasons. One, they're prioritizing that position. Two, why not keep alive a healthy pipeline that has proved so fertile for the Crimson Tide? Now, what I will tell you is this. It's not an opportune miss. This is a guy that Alabama will absolutely continue chipping away at. But we also need to understand who the opposing recruiter and defensive line coach is, and that's Larry Johnson. And just briefly to give you some names from Larry Johnson that he has successfully recruited, we're talking about JT Tuimalau, we're talking Jack Sawyer, Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Zach Harrison, Edric Houston, Taryn Vincent, Maurice Evans, Tyreek Smith, Jonathan Cooper. I mean, this guy is an elite recruiter, and he sent guys to the NFL. So it's a miss, but Alabama is going to pivot. Dan I know he's been keeping his eye on the targets to keep up with. We had a running back that could have committed this evening, no longer going to commit, or not this evening, Wednesday. I'm getting my dates mixed up. But Dan, who do we need to keep our eye on now that Houston is committed to Ohio State?
Yes, well, we had a young guy to reclassify, Steve. I don't know he's from Canada. So he's our big target left on the board, but we're going to continue to recruit Edric Houston, but I consider it a long shot at this point. We just got to get him on campus. If he visits again, all bets are off. But, we've done it before. That's been years ago. You go back to Terrell Lewis, who he was able to flip from Ohio State. So it can be done, but it's going to be a long shot. And with as far as the running back, Daniel Hill was supposed to announce tomorrow, but that's been changed. He pushed back. Him and his family are going to sit down and reevaluate things. And I think that's very beneficial to Alabama because, to me personally, I think he was leaning towards South Carolina. So, for him to postpone the announcement, I think that favors Bama. You go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, and I got to say this too, guys. It's a long season. Like we just said, how the football season's about to kick off. Listen, a lot of these recruits going to be trying to get to that Alabama-Texas game. They're going to be trying to get to the Alabama-LSU game, Alabama-Arkansas. Even if they're on visits other places, they're still going to be wondering what's going on in T-Town. So, luckily, signing day is not tomorrow. Signing days only till December sometime, that first wave of signing days. So I think we got a lot of time to keep that Buford pipeline, but really get a lot of guys on campus during the football season. And that's my 2 cents.
And real quick off of just that, I just look at the history of Alabama and how we continue to recruit guys after early commitments. And we've had massive success with that, even recent success. And I think like Ty made a joke about it, the pipeline to Buford being done. I don't think that the pipeline is dead or anything like that. I know you were exaggerating, but some people will sit there and they will believe something like that because you missed out on one recruit. When you got to look at the class that's in front of this kid. This kid is a day one player, so he's probably not trying to go and compete. He's probably thinking on the business side, NIL, that type of thing. All these different things factor into these recruits making commitments. And it takes a different type of recruit to commit to Alabama, knowing the standard and the demand that Nick Saban is going to place on you, especially when you're a highly talented recruit. And then just to the scheme of things, he fits Alabama's scheme perfectly, but he also fits Ohio State's defensive scheme. So, we can't knock him for making the decision. I feel like he's going to be successful no matter where he goes. But as always, don't count out Alabama, Coach Saban, and Freddie Roach. This is your chance to prove if you can get out there and make something happen. Show your worth, because we haven't seen it on the field yet. Show your worth in that recruiting. You've been doing it. Let's see you take it to the next level.
Chris, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, Coach Saban is the king of flip. So it's early. Just like the Juju Lewis going to USC commitment. He's a sophomore. Even though he may reclassify to the 25 class, as it's been rumored, it's still early. Bryce Young was committed to USC. So, just think about all the guys that we flipped from other places. Reuben Foster was committed to Auburn. Quentin Williams was committed to Auburn.
Asian Robson.
Asian Robson,
yeah, I was about to say
to Texas.
Yep.
Cyrus Quandro was committed to he was about to sign to Auburn. He announced on signing day he was going to Auburn.
Right.
Just think of all the guys that were committed elsewhere that end up coming to that was Ronnie Clark? It was somebody else that was committed somewhere. And but the thing is, Saban is the king of flip, so I'm not worried until December.
Stop beating them children.
But yeah, absolutely, guys. It is a long season. Recruiting season, it's up and down, and you're dealing with kids. Anything can change at any moment. Hey, girlfriend might break up with them. They decide to go far away from her, or girl might come back, and all of a sudden they're back in the picture of wherever they initially decided to go. But until their name was on that dotted line, Coach Saban can still work. All the assistant coaches can still do work. And then, too, if Alabama is showing what we expect from them this season, back in the national title contention, then expect some of those flips to elsewhere to maybe change back towards the direction of Tuscaloosa. So I don't get concerned about anything, and I definitely don't get concerned about what star goes where, because that's a high school ranking, and until you show something on a college football field, you haven't done anything yet. hey, that dressing just gets you inside the building. What you do after that determines my response. But yeah, so anyone else want to add anything before we move to our first major topic?
LaShawn, you got anything, LaShawn?
No, I trust the process.
Ooh,
He'll get it done.
Simple to the point.
Y'all know me.
That's all we need.
That's right.
All right, our first major topic tonight. We've been talking about the quarterback since Bryce Young's eligibility ran out. And I don't think we're going to stop talking about it until that first snap is taken. And I venture to say, even after the first snap is taken against Middle Tennessee State, debates are still going to be going on, and fans are going to be assuming this, assuming that. If one guy does bad, that means, he's done. He's written off. We really don't know. But one of the names that is populating right now is Jalen Milroe. He's taking a lead. We're not going to talk really about that. What we're going to talk about is, why hasn't Ty Simpson won the job? Came in here with a lot of promise, a lot of upside. People have already named him the presumed starter, ever since Bryce left. But that isn't the case. Doesn't seem to be taking the bull by the horns. He's not forcing Coach Saban to start him. So that's what we're here to talk about tonight. To start things out, we're going to go with Chris, then to Dan, Matt, Coach Smook. I'll give a little something. LaShawn and Ty will round it all off. Chris, if you would, sir, start it all out.
Well, basically, with Ty Simpson, let's rewind back to his high school playing days in Tennessee. He didn't play on a very high level or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So it's like transitioning to the SEC is a huge step. The day I stepped foot on campus in my first practice, just the speed of the game was so much faster than high school ball. And, and I played at a pretty good, caliber brand of ball, level of ball in high school. But, man, that SEC is another level, man. And for him, I just think that it's going to take time with him. I don't think he's ready. I think he's crazy talented. But I just think that with him, it's going to take some time, some more seasoning, some more time to the process things quicker, to get in the lab, quicker release, quicker throws, quicker reads, just simple stuff like that. Because quarterback, you got to understand, that's the hardest position to play in football. It's quarterback. I mean, to that high level, it's quarterback. So it's not like something you can go on training for 3 weeks like a job. You can go on for 3 weeks and train and be ready for it. It takes years to prepare for that level of football. I mean, we're talking about Alabama. We're not talking about a FCS school or lower tier Power 5 school. We're talking about Alabama here, the best of the best. So he's seeing the best of the best every day in practice. So maybe in the game it may slow down for him, but in practice, I'm hearing good things, and then I'm hearing he takes, and you have to give credit to the defense also, because I think we're going to have a good defense too. So I mean, it's a lot of factors that you have to put into play until kickoff. We don't know. None of us know. Knows what's going to go on until kickoff. So I just attribute it to how good of a defense we have. But like I said, it's going to take time, man. I mean, he's only a redshirt freshman. We got to remember that he's not a third or fourth year guy. He's a second year guy. So 2 years ago he was playing high school ball. So I just think it's going to take time. That's basically what it boils down to. It may be another year, or maybe later this year. You never know.
All right. Great explanation, Dan.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the role of conspiracy theorist here. All right.
Do tell.
Me personally, I think it doesn't have anything to do with Milroe or Simpson. I'm thinking, the hottest name on message boards and social media is Dylan Lonergan. Now, let me tell you. Let me tell you why. I don't think there's much separation between Ty Simpson and Dylan Lonergan. So it would be easier, if I'm a coach, it would be easier for me to name Jalen Milroe the starting quarterback, because he can have a good year and move on. You know what I'm saying? If you go ahead and name Ty Simpson, you're basically saying he's going to be your starter for 2 years. I don't think it's going to take Dylan Lonergan 2 years to be ready to perform at a high level. So
I hate
it's
this.
easier to go ahead and name Milroe your starter. Even if you name him the starter, Ty Simpson transfers, you got Lonergan. You know what I'm saying? You got Holstein. You still in, now none of the quarterbacks are playing poorly. I'm gonna just set that straight. All of them playing pretty well. We just haven't had a leader yet. So, that's what we're trying to determine. So it's easier to go ahead and guy with some SEC experience in Milroe to go ahead and name him the starter just to keep it, simple.
I agree. Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off what Dan said. I think, for Ty Simpson, for me, it's Jalen Milroe and Dylan Lonergan. I think those are the two reasons why he hasn't taken this quarterback position. Dylan Lonergan. Listen, Coach Saban's made some cryptic, press conferences after practices that already make me think about Dylan Lonergan. From what I've heard, that he's probably looking like one of our best quarterbacks out there. So I wouldn't be surprised. That's the reason why Ty Simpson, along as with Milroe's improvement, why he hasn't taken over the job. But, I want Ty Simpson not to get frustrated. Stay patient. Look at Mac Jones. Mac Jones is an NFL starter in the NFL. He sat behind Jalen, Tua, and continued to refine his craft. And he had to beat out Bryce Young for that starting position. So, I think Coach Saban, me personally, this is a hot take right here. I think we're going to play 3 quarterbacks next week just to throw Texas off, have them game plan for 3 quarterbacks. So, but I do think Dylan Lonergan, he just doesn't have the experience, but he's so talented with the players we have. I think he gets it being a two-way athlete. So, listen, Dylan Lonergan, that guy is the real deal, and I think Milroe has a lot to do with it as well. So, who's it going to, Coach Smook or Ty?
Coach Smook.
Coach Smook.
Yeah, so I'm gonna use some of what you and Dan said, being that it had a little bit to do with Dylan, but I think it has more to do with just Jalen Milroe steadily improving, Ty Simpson not digressing, and Lonergan showing something that wasn't expected. I don't think Ty Simpson and Jalen Milroe are separated by anything more now than consistency and Milroe's legs. I still think Ty Simpson has the arm talent, when the ability to get the ball downfield, the accuracy. His gunslinger mentality is probably another thing that's keeping him behind Milroe, being that it's early. You don't want to just take it from Milroe. Milroe's proven one thing, that he can win. Milroe's proven another thing, that he can show up in a big moment, and in the midst of making mistakes, he can rebound from those mistakes. He can make up. He can calm himself down and make the right decisions that are going to capitalize and help other players around him be better. So you get an offensive coordinator that's competent enough to see that in Milroe and set him up in successful positions. That's all Milroe needed to keep on progressing. That was the only thing that kept Milroe from being a starter somewhere else. I guarantee you, Milroe at Tennessee last year, if Hendon Hooker's out there, Milroe's the starter over there. Milroe could have went to Florida, been at Florida, and had more success than Richardson, last year. So it wasn't a thing of Milroe not having ability. It was the positions he was put in. And I feel like he's comfortable. You get a comfortable athlete at quarterback with the arm, that's a dangerous thing to deal with when you got a stable of running backs there and you got, a wide receiver group and the tight end group that's just, freakish athletes everywhere. But Simpson, I don't think he's falling off. I don't think Simpson's lost focus either. I think Simpson knows exactly where he stands, and he's just going to continue to try to improve. I honestly think he's number 2 on the depth chart. I don't think Lonergan is going to continue to make plays. He's going to continue to get better. But I think that just sets him up for next year to have a fair competition in that quarterback battle. But right now, I don't see unless Milroe goes out and just craps the bed. I think Simpson is right where he needs to be. I think the talk for Simpson is it doesn't need to be a lot. I think we have a guy that knows he's under the lights, he's ready, and can go out there and still do the job if need be.
Chris, you had something to add before I go?
May I interject right quick for 10 seconds?
10 seconds.
Go. I had a former teammate that was at both scrimmages, and he said that this last scrimmage, this is going to be crazy. He said that he felt like Buckner was the best of all of the quarterbacks. Just leave that out there.
That's a practice quarterback. I don't care now, bro. That dude.
Hey,
everybody looked good in practice.
He looked good against Ohio State and South Carolina.
No, he didn't. 3 plays
Hey,
in both of those games where he looked good. He did
a
not
Bama
look great in those
legend.
games.
Bama legend, LaRon McClain
I
confirmed
trust
that
this
too.
guy. I trust him.
So
I don't like Buck. He gonna get shaky under them lights. But that's
I'm
just my
gonna
opinion.
try to
He'll be
keep
the
it
least
short and sweet. No disrespect towards Ty Simpson. I think what majority of the panel is saying is he just needs time to adjust to the speed of the college game, and not just any college game, the SEC game. This is NFL light. This is basically the equivalent of NFL Europe. We're prepping you to take that next step. I'm going from a very small school in Tennessee to that kind of platform. It's a lot to take in. And I believe, Matt, it was you who said there's another quarterback who did wait his time, and that was Mac Jones. And that turned out just fine. Of course, we're in a drive-through approach generation. A lot of people aren't waiting. We'll see if Ty Simpson will do that. I think that Jalen Milroe has gone above and beyond what people are giving him credit for. He has improved in the offseason. He has spent time improving his throwing, his accuracy, building the team. Somebody mentioned in the chat before, winning the locker room over. Those are huge factors. Add that big play ability. That just is, it's hard to deny that. He's put his time in. Ty will come along when it's his time. Is it if it's at Alabama or it's somewhere else? But Dylan Larkin is creeping up. And how's he doing so well? We could go through a laundry list of great attributes he has. But I think the biggest thing is he can play because he's comfortable without pressure. He knows he doesn't have to be the guy right now. It's not between him and Jalen and Ty. It's you let the game come to you, and then when you're ready, you go on the field. So he's able to be calm and poised and slinging around like he is. But yeah, just to kind of sum up, Ty's not behind because he's any worse or anything along those lines. It's just because it's just not his time yet. Lushan.
I'm gonna come at it from a completely new angle that no one's really touched on. I think what gives a lot of what Dylan Larnagin has is the fact that he's a two-sport athlete, and he is a highly, highly rated two-sport athlete. And most importantly, the position in that sport he plays. He plays the most important position on that field. So not only is he completely comfortable and used to being under the bright lights, he feeds off it. He's a pitcher, which also means he's not afraid to make mistakes and adapt at the drop of a hat, which I think gives him the greatest advantage over everything, because we don't have a quarterback that we know, which means, in all honesty, I think that just says what it says. The competition is what it is. And if the kid comes in and makes 3-4 plays, I mean, we've seen it before. Saban will ride it. And personally, I think he's going to. It's just me.
Okay. Ty?
Look, I'm a piggyback off of something Justin you said and Lucian something you said. First and foremost, he doesn't have any pressure, right? He is just going out there and playing within the game, which ironically enough, if you listen to also Matt hinted at this, talking about Saban's cryptic messages, Saban has said, we want a guy that's going to go out there, not force things, but play within the game. That's exactly what Lonergan is doing, and Lucian told you exactly why. This isn't new to him. This isn't a novel concept to him. These guys that are top-level pitchers, there's a different level of psychology there, and what do we know about Saban? This is the master psychologist. Now, to round this out, I think the one thing else I will say about Jalen Milroe is this. Whenever we look at the quarterback battle, the one thing Saban has asked for, aside from playing within the scheme, is be consistent, right? That's the biggest thing they're looking for. We know Ty Simpson has got great arm talent. It's the consistency is the question. Jalen Milroe has got great arm upside. Is it going to be consistent? The one quarterback who offers anything consistent is Milroe. If the passing game isn't working with any of the quarterbacks, Milroe offers something nobody else does. So in that vein, if we're after consistency, he's got the most consistent weapon right now. If he develops his arm talent, he's got a huge arm. It's going to be a ton of fun, but love the points, especially Lucian, what you said about the baseball, because that is a very real aspect, and the psychological aspect of being a quarterback cannot be ignored.
Don't forget, Jalen Milroe has something that none of the quarterbacks on the roster have right now: 2 wins.
Yep, 2-0 in the SEC,
and against hostile environments.
And
that's another.
That's another thing. All the big games this year favor for a quarterback like Jalen Milroe to have big games. You get I guarantee you. You go back and I won't fact check right now. I guarantee you look at Jalen Hurts' performances at home. That year he had to start as a true freshman and came in. I guarantee you his home performances better, and he featured better stats in his home performance than his away games. And then if this defense can wake up, Jalen Milroe is not going to lose the job. You can live with having to hand the ball off 30, 40 times a game when you got a defense that we're expecting to have. You're going to expect those defensive turnovers, those touchdowns. I mean, it can happen.
I want to just say this too. The reason I say we probably play 3 quarterbacks because Coach Saban has already said, Lonergan looks good. He just doesn't have game experience. So I do think in the back of Tommy Rees and Coach Saban's mind, they're like, we need to get this guy on the field as quick as possible. That way he's kind of have more game experience. So that's kind of my 2 cents. And guys, Chris James mentioned it. Our quarterbacks are going against the top defense, like all Americans, week in and week out, every day at practice. So, that's why it's so competitive. But I'll leave it at that.
Shout out to Van Edwards. Tell me these fellas right here ain't the most talented. Ain't a show better than this.
You the man, Van.
All right, we got another question from the audience.
Marvin and Keith.
Ed Adams. Do y'all think Tim Keenan will start over Tim Smith? Who wants to take this?
Dan?
Hell no.
We'll start with Coach Smook, and then we'll go to Dan.
Hey, so check this out. What I'm hearing about Keenan is the kid has the right attitude this year. It's just not showing up on the field. It's just the energy is not there on the field. I don't know if he's out of shape, but what I'm hearing from Keenan is the attitude is there, though. The attitude is a lot better this year. Now, maybe he's just not a practice player because we saw flashes from Keenan last season. We just knew that attitude was off. The attitude, the pouting on the sideline, y'all would see it. I don't know if y'all paid attention, but I would see it in games where you would see Otis and Latham and what's the kid name? Tim Smith get thrown out there. And you could see Keenan running out there, then he get waved back and he pouting and stuff. You can't have that. You got to be all in no matter what your assignment is. But the attitude is there. I think it's just a thing of he's probably just a under the lights player.
Yeah.
Man, what you got, man, before we move to our next topic?
Short answer, no. But he's making major strides. I've heard that he's making major strides. He actually down, 20 pounds. He's down to 315 official weight. He's been performing, but I think it's just the only way he'll start over Tim Smith is Tim Smith gets back in the doghouse.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Smith is uber talented. He has an extra 3-4 inches of height, more athletic, and he can play the end. I don't see Tim Keenan being able to play the 4 and 5 technique like Tim Smith can. So Tim Smith can play 0 through 5. Keenan 0, 1, maybe 2. You know what I'm saying? So kind of different positions, I would say. So I look for Keenan to be number 2 behind Jaheim Otis, though.
Okay, Chris. Real quick.
It's a law firm. You ever heard of law firm Latham and Payne? He has to overcome that law firm before he starts over those guys.
I'm gonna say this, and I think another thing was gonna benefit Tim Keenan and all the defensive line. We don't have Pete Golden's stupid defensive concept. We have Kevin Steele's defense that is going to have those guys. We're going to rotate 9, 10, 11
them ears back.
linemen that's going to just rush the quarterback and put pressure on him. So I think that's going to benefit him. I look for him to really start stepping up later in the season, and he probably taking a little bit more ownership and really stepping up and really helping our defense in front. But not having Pete Golden, that's all I got to say. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
All right, I love that. That's the biggest thing right there. No Pete Golding. We actually get to play
Hallelujah.
defense and properly scheme and make adjustments. Yes, folks, the word adjustments has been missing for 4-5 years. It's coming back. All right,
Adjustments been
so
missing since Pruitt.
I'm going to let Lushawn lead this one off because this is something he's been answering about for quite some time. And it's still sticking with the defense. It has to do with one Earl Little. Earl, were for out thou. Lushawn, we'll let you start things out. Then we'll go to Ty, Dan, Matt, Coach Smook, and then Chris James.
You know, I'm just curious on like what the actual shakeup is going to be, the rotation is going to be in the secondary, because if you think about it, we have so many multi-transitional type of players in our secondary. So it's honestly whatever Steele wants to do at the drop of a hat, because there's just too many players that have that much talent that they could play anywhere. So it's just going to be interesting to see what they come up with.
Ty, why aren't we seeing Earl Little Jr. right now? Is someone surpassing him?
Yeah, no, look, I think that if you were to ask me a name that maybe the Tide fan base isn't talking about that they should be, I would talk a lot about Earl Little Jr. If we go back to A-Day, in my opinion, defensively, if you can find me a more impressive play than the interception he had on that crossing route, I'd love to see it. I'd love to talk about it, because that play he made intercepting that crossing route when he did was spectacular. The diving play, he is an incredibly gifted player, and I think he fits into the secondary. And Lucian, you said it perfectly. The name of the secondary is versatility. And the versatility, I think, allows you to min-max. It's one of the things I talk about all the time. You can really find your own stride when you have so much versatility. Luckily for Alabama, you have Kool-Aid McKinstry. Terrion Arnold is a guy that can genuinely play everywhere in the secondary. And so it's all about what the best matchups are, what the best group is. I think Earl Little is in for a big year, though. I'm really excited for what he can do, because I think he has got that much ability.
I think the answer to that is someone that plays a totally different position. I think, it has to be the emergence of Jalen Key. So the emergence of Jalen Key forces us to put Malachi Moore back to star, because Earl Little is going to be the star. And we were trying Malachi Moore at free, but Jalen Key has been, Caleb Downs has one safety spot locked down. I'm thinking Jalen Key has emerged at the other safety spot. And so, therefore, we're moving Malachi Moore with the experience back to star. So that's really what's happening. It's just a number game with Earl Little. He'll be fine. Alabama will be fine. I guess it's like a embarrassment of riches, in the secondary, what we have right now. He's just a victim of numbers.
Yeah, I agree. To y'all's point about versatility, I think this is all by design. Listen, Coach Saban is a master manipulator. He's not going to show his hand. One thing I'm hearing from Coach Saban, just about every practice, man, we're playing guys in so many positions. So I think him and T-Rob are coming up with so many multiple packages in the secondary to really throw.
Get your out of here, man. We ain't trying to see. Come on, man.
Seats taken in the chat.
I think Coach Saban is throwing, him and T-Rob are coming up with such a masterful secondary unit where they got so many multiple variations where they can go out.
Happy you left.
Where they can go out and just confuse all these offenses. You look at what we discussed it, going against Texas A&M. Like, we're going to really confuse a lot of defenses where you won't look at Alabama as old and you see the same personnel, the same nickel dime. You don't know what's coming from. You don't know. We might see, Earl. You might see Earl and Malachi. It's going to be so confusing, but yet so effective and simple that, we're just basically, having a master class of all the talent on the defensive secondary, just because we're so versatile with so many guys that can do so many things. So I think it's by design. Shouts out to Pete Gold in the building.
Hey, Brian Green, Pete, trying to learn how to defend the wheel route in the chat.
We can't teach you. You didn't learn from Saban. We can't teach you. Sorry.
Well, I love the volume in that perm you got, Pete.
Jesus, golly. Anyway,
Coach.
Man, but just to go along with everything everybody's saying, man, Earl Little he's going to see the field. My thing is, Jalen Key was like the answer to securing that top end so Malachi Moore can really play where he's been the most effective at when he was a freshman, when he was healthy. And that was at that star position. I don't know if y'all remember how crazy dominant Malachi Moore came in his freshman year 2020 season. And he was at that star position. He played that dime, that money, and that star position. And until he got injured, man, the kid was he was flying around. And I think he's back. And I heard them talking about on the Bama Standard before we came on tonight, how that mentality, the mental part after injury is the biggest step to overcome, the biggest hurdle to overcome. And I think because Malachi Moore is over that hurdle, I want to see Malachi Moore be able to cover somebody. But just in case he can't, Jalen Key is the rangy safety we need. No doubt about it. He has the speed, he has the range, he has the height, the kid is physical coming up and run support. So you want a guy like that loves to play the ball, unlike DeMarco Hillams, a guy that loves to play the ball, that's going to play, coverage first. He's going to contain, he's going to be disciplined. And you want a guy like Malachi Moore up close to the line who gives you experience. But just in case you don't have that, you know what I'm saying, Earl Little is more than ready. We know it. And I think he's the first DB up on that dime package. I think he's the first DB up. And I think Key probably is the one that rotates out and Smitty goes over top. That's what I think. Because like you were saying, to Matt's point, the personnel groupings for the DB group, I think we can go 8 deep and not be worried. I mean, that's across the board. I think we go 8 deep at all the positions. You know what I'm saying? The top 8 DBs on our roster right now, you can play some 5-6 man set, and we'll have some solid coverage out there. And I know, based off Kevin Steele's history, I can't wait to see a lot of these guys that are athletes, are man cover guys, be able to cover and play like streak man, some physical man. Because that's what these guys are used to coming out of high school, going out there and locking down the best receiver on their side of the field. So you get 3 guys in scheme that can do that underneath 2 safeties that know how to cover over top or be disciplined on the run. That's where Alabama used to excel. And then we got to shore up that inside, that middle. So I think Earl Little just fits into the scheme. There's no rush to get him out there when you got older guys out there that's proven that they are ready for the assignment.
Chris.
I'll give you 2 names. Key and Amos. The transfer portal strikes again. I just think that Trey Amos, he's making it hard for Terrion Arnold. See, Dan thinks that Malachi Moore be the star, but I'm going with Terrion Arnold being the star and Amos being the other corner. And simply because Arnold is so rangy, he's a guy that can play multiple positions. Amos and Kool-Aid are your outside guys. I think that in your star position, because a lot of times we had problems covering faster slots. If you notice, we were a step behind in coverage at times, but I think that Terrion Arnold will show up that star spot, and I think that they'll keep Malachi Moore back deep. I think it'll be Malachi Moore and dime package, Malachi Moore, Key, and Caleb Downs back deep, but to go with Amos, Kool-Aid, and Terrion, I think that'll be your 6. Those will be your 6 DBs. And I think that Little will play, but it'll be as like in rotations because, for example, like when I was at Bama, we used to rotate safeties every 2 series. The starters would go 2 series, then the next group would go in for a series. Then the starters would come back for 2 more. Then the next group would go in. So I think it'll be a rotation to keep guys fresh for the 4th quarter. So, but I just think that it's because of Amos and Key, and if they weren't there, they'll be he'll be out there with the first team. He and both Devontae Smith. And the story has been kind of pushed back too. That just tells you how good Key has been. You know what I'm saying? For Story to kind of to be shifted to the as an afterthought. So
Tony Mitchell too.
Yeah, Tony Mitchell. But I've been hearing good things about Tony Mitchell in camp. But I think he's a year away because he started late. Yep. So I think that 2024 will be his year and Earl Little year because I think that Amos is going to be one and done. The Key's a senior. So I think that I think that Amos is so good at the boundary at the other corner that I think that Arnold is too good to keep out the field. And I think Arnold will slide to that slot and play the star. That's just my guessing. Because I like Malachi more at the safety, more high, but I like Arnold in that slot, man. I like true pure corners playing
at the star.
Yeah, the true.
I like Terrion. I like Arnold at corner.
Me too.
But
I like Arnold.
I mean, the star is a corner. It ain't nothing but a nickelback.
I'd rather Moore be at star because he's so physical on that run support, man.
Terrion is a specimen too. Y'all got to remember, Terrion played safety in high school. He was a safety.
All right, the Bill. All right, next topic.
We can talk about
Before
this
we move on to our next topic, I think Lushawn had something to add to close this out. Lushawn, what did you have in 30 seconds?
I mean, I know y'all just threw out a whole bunch of names, but I think this all boils down to one person, and that's Caleb Downs. Because, I mean, he come in and just completely pushed everybody to the side as a true freshman. So whatever lineup they thought they had going in, he came in and said, no, I'm him, and I'm here. And I'm pretty sure he could play multiple positions, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him starting at star first game of the season because he is very physical, and he can guard everything. So, and Saban's done that with a freshman, like 7-8 years ago?
Minka.
Yeah, that guy.
But for that reason, that's why he's over top. That range,
he did all right, didn't he?
That dude nasty.
Yeah, but he can also go vertical, and Malachi Moore can't, which is why I feel more comfortable with Downs.
I like Arnold at the start on the inside.
Chris, you about to be put in a penalty box, sir. Man, was he always seeking attention like this growing up, Dan?
Yeah, he talking about DBs, so he can do that.
I feel you, Chris.
All right. So we are apparently on a little tirade in terms of the defense because our next topic is still sticking with the defensive side of the ball. We got some headhunters in here, guys, and two guys are battling it out, the linebacker position, Tresman Marshall and Jahad Campbell. Man, I love both those names. So I'm putting it on to this panel right here. Who wins that battle? Lushawn, we'll start with you. Go to Ty, Dan, Matt, Smoot, and Chris James rounded out. I know you're excited, Lushawn. We talked about this, I believe it was last week, and we couldn't put down the phone. What you got, brother?
I mean, I think if we're going to start off the season, I think it's going to be Marshall. But I think Campbell's going to serve like a Rashad Evans role early on because he's just a playmaker and he can rush the passer and do multiple positions. So I think it's going to be a rotation into the three at first, probably maybe 1-2 series off type of thing. But I also think that you can't also forget about Justin Jefferson because once he's got a grip on the playbook, you can't keep an athlete like that off the field. So I really think it's going to be a situation come about midseason. We're going to have about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse coming in the middle for anything that gets through the line.
Ty, he brought 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Can you top that?
No, I'm gonna just go ahead and temper your expectations right now. No, I can't. But I can sprinkle in a little bit more in there. Look, love everything he said. My biggest question as to who will win in this battle, I think, revolves around the defensive line. How good is that unit going to be? Because if the defensive line allows the linebackers to do what they need to do, gentlemen, Campbell is a different type of athlete, and the linebacking core featuring he and Deontay Lawson is a linebacking core that has got a lot of explosiveness, that can cover a lot of ground. That would be an incredibly athletic duo. Now, if we need extra run support, Marshall is a physical, gifted, athletic linebacker who's also incredibly athletic. And Justin Jefferson turned heads instantly whenever he got there. Don't forget about Kendrick Blackshire, hoping we see some more of him, especially on special teams, because he's a guy who could really make his presence known there. So super excited because it's almost like that old school mentality feels like it's back. And that's what we're hoping to see out of this group.
Awesome. Dan.
Yeah, like my guy Marvin said on the Bama Standard, I don't like to rotate the middle linebacker position too much. Just because of the flow of the game and the personnel that we'll be using. So I'm thinking the guy's going to be Tresman Marshall next to my guy, but going with experience, Campbell, I think in long term is going to be the better player, but experience and just knowledge and experience, I'm gonna have to go with Tresman Marshall.
I'm gonna say this. I just think I know y'all don't like to rotate, but I'm just looking at how Georgia rotated their linebackers the past couple of years because they have so much talent, and I think that's kind of what we're gonna kind of do. A couple series here, two guys play. I just think we got to have that experience, that depth in the long run because we got so much talent. Again, going back to versatility, going back to rotation. I just think it's important we get as many guys playing, get that game experience, and rotate. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, Coach.
My thing is, and I'm gonna piggyback off the rotation idea because the last time we had a group of inside linebackers like this, I want to take it back to 2016, probably one of the best defensive years we had as far as Alabama creating turnovers. And I think that was the year we set the mark for the most non-offensive touchdowns, 2016, correct? If I'm not mistaken. Let me see. So you talking about that year, I'm looking at the roster, we had a rotation. And Mack Wilson, mind you, Mack Wilson was a freshman this year. We had Rashaan Evans, we had Sean Dion Helmington, Reuben Foster, and you had a redshirt sophomore, Jamie Mosley, spot playing off of those three, rotating heavy. And I want to say was Christian Miller was on the edge that year, but I mean we had a chest full of talent at that linebacker room that you just couldn't keep off the field. And those guys, I think Foster and Hamilton were your starters until Hamilton got injured that year. But that you had two guys play majority of snaps, but you seen the other two guys getting key moment spot play. I even could go back to when Keith Holcomb and Dylan Lee used to spot play at the inside linebacker spot. You get what I'm saying? And how effective it was. And you got an aggressive defensive play caller in Kevin Steele back at the University of Alabama, who is definitely going to be sending guys to shore up that inside run game, to shore up supporting that inside run game. Them guys he's not going to be throwing them guys and making them take it 7-8 plays in a row. It's going to have the bodies and the talent to rotate. I feel like that's why you see such a rotation in the spring scrimmages and practices. Guys, different groupings in the same sets, but different personnel groupings. I think that's playing a lot into how we're going to go into Middle Tennessee State. And I would not discount defensively the type of rotation we see against Middle Tennessee State. I wouldn't discount seeing that same type of rotation against Texas. And that's at all three levels on the defensive side.
Chris, bring it home.
Well, like if you only have two inside linebackers that are ready, you're in trouble. You're in for a long year. Because I mean, with how physical that position is, you have to have guys ready to play, ready to step up. And it's encouraging to see guys like Campbell, Justin Jefferson, Sean Murphy, Kendra Blackshire. They have those guys waiting in the wings, licking their chop. It's good because it keeps fire up underneath those starters. But I think that Marshall is the safe bet to start it off. But Campbell's going to be hard to keep off the field. Mm-hmm. Marshall has the experience, the prototype. He's a prototypical linebacker. I mean, he's physical. He can run. He can strike you. I've been following him since high school. He's from down here in South Georgia. He's been a stud, coming through all through high school. So he was a highly recruited, linebacker. And so he's no chopper, no run of the mill type of linebacker. He was a highly recruited talent. So I think that he's going to make it hard for Campbell to over, the take his spot. But I think Campbell will play. I think that you need at least three guys in there. Maybe two base guys and then rotate one in for the nickel or something. I can see Campbell coming in for the nickel. And maybe another guy, fourth guy coming in like Murphy or somebody for dime. It's just so many different ways that you'll have the opportunity to put, bodies on the field in that linebacker position. So But I think Lawson is going to be the steady guy that's going to be out there every snap. I think he probably plays the most out of all the linebackers since he's the most familiar with the system. And I think that that Campbell and Marshall will split those other reps and keep an eye on Blackshire. Like I said, Justin Jefferson, man, he's just too good to keep off the field. Maybe you'll see him in dime. You know, you never know. But it's a good problem to have. And if anybody can figure it out, it's Kevin Steele.
Yeah, without question. Well, guys, we have actually come towards the end of the show. And as we always do, we like to have a little bit of fun closing things up, going around the room, telling people how they can find us on social media. And I encourage everybody in the chat. First of all, thank you, chat, for showing up and showing out tonight. We don't do this without you. You are the biggest and best fans in the world. And I fully expect you to support all these gentlemen here on the panel with what they got going on. Subscribe after the show, of course. Hit that like and subscribe button, guys. Let us know you love us. We'll start things out with our top fan, Lushan. We thank you for being on with us tonight. And if you're not familiar, chat, with what we're doing, when we say top fan, we pick one of the top fans, top supporters of our show from the chat and in the comment section from the YouTube channel based on their passion. And we bring them on and we let them have their time in the sun and show appreciation. If you want to be the next top fan, send us an email, thebamastandard@gmail.com. Tell us why you love us and why you should be the next selection for the Final Whistle top fan. But yeah, we'll do Lushan first, then Ty, Dan, Matt, Coach Smook, and Chris.
If you guys want to follow me, I'm on Twitter, Lushan G. It's at ROLUSC21. I'm on Twitter all the time, always talking Bama. I got some other things I'm got in the works this fall for YouTube and whatnot, but that's it for right now. You know, I keep it short and simple.
And if you're interested, you're more than welcome to do something on this channel, sir.
You know what?
Just gonna throw it out there.
Yeah, OnlyFans is Luscious Lushan.
Hey, that wasn't supposed to be discussed unless the credits were up. I'm not gonna get my cut on that. Come on now.
We know you're prominent OnlyFans title, but go ahead and throw it out there and then tell what else you got going on.
As you all know, the OnlyFans content can be found at Reach Around the Table Sports, Electric Boogaloo Part 2. So it's a lot of fun over there. Would love to have you. But in all seriousness, Around the Table Sports, constant college football content. Like I said to start off the show, if you like vintage Alabama fan wear, Home Field has got you covered. New drop coming Sunday, August 27th. Use code ATTS15 for 15% off your order. Helps the channel. You get a discount. Everybody wins.
We love winners here at the Final Whistle. Dan.
Y'all know you can catch me on Twitter at Final Whistle Dan. You see the handle right there in front of you. And you can catch my on OnlyFans. We say Game of Inches.
That's the best one.
Most important,
that's beautiful.
Every week, every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. It's right here. You know, the best show on YouTube, you know, is the Final Whistle. And it's what it's all about. It's about you guys. Roll Tide, y'all.
Matt Cadell, can you top Dan's name?
Throw Dan the balls.
I don't know if I can top that one. You know, Monday nights I got Football University, but this week my OnlyFans promo code is in the backfield, and you know, it's all about the steel curtain. Keep pounding. That's what we
Promo code Ball Boy.
Promo code Diving for Loose Balls.
Oh man, that's what I need our receivers to do. Catch the ball.
Smook.
Man, y'all already know y'all can catch me at Coach Smook on every platform, man. Tonight we're going live on the YouTube channel. We got another league game. Troy versus Arkansas is about to get crazy. We got an Alabama game. I think next Alabama game. I need y'all to go and check out the last YouTube VOD we posted with BYU versus Bama. had some crazy scenario things posted happen. Milroe took over for Simpson in the middle of the game. It got crazy, y'all. So go check it out. And then also just continue to support the Final Whistle, guys. We got a lot of things going to pop off when the season starts. And I mean, reaction videos, everything is about to be crazy, y'all. So just continue to support. We appreciate you. It don't take no type of money, just your likes, your shares is more than enough. Just continue to support. And we greatly appreciate it, man. And roll tide, man. And my OnlyFans is back on band because my special the late night headset talk, taking home field advantage. That series got banned. I don't know why. Maybe because Dan didn't come through on his part, but yeah. So y'all, we'll catch up with the OnlyFans content soon. All right.
Chris James, aka Dan's big brother.
He wishes.
Big talker, as Marvin Constant called you.
G8 from G8.
Hey, shout out to Marvin Constant,
Athlete.
1999 All SEC linebacker, being in the chat tonight, mixing things up with our great live chat crew.
Man, Marvin was a bully, man. You can catch me on Facebook at Chris K. James Sr. On X, formerly known as Twitter, at Coach Chris James. You can catch me on Instagram at CKJ Senior 32. My only fans is Crimson Pain.
Oh my gosh. And his burner account's down here. Oh, Percolicious James.
Crimson Pain, aka Captain Hook.
Oh damn.
aka Harry Cox.
Whoa.
COX Cox.
And Van Edwards, as the OnlyFans manager, Smoot got that bang 8 and throw straight.
Damn.
My gosh.
Pick it up. Pick it up. That's my other name. Pick it up. The first name. Pick it up.
Oh,
man, shout out to the best fans in the whole world, folks in the chat. You make us do what we do. We can't do it without you. For the Bama Standard, football season is firing up right now. The season doesn't start unless you're watching it with us. All of our shows, the Bama Standard flagship show, Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. The Final Whistle right here, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. And then we're going to have post-game shows on the weekend. We're going to do a lot of stuff. Next Friday at the Paul W. Bryant Museum, 7 p.m. September 1st, pregame. Get ready with the Bama Standard live in person. Show up, show out. Let's pack the whole place out. And if you want to be a sponsor of that show, you can Venmo us at the Bama Standard. Make sure in the description to include who you are or who your business is so we can give you the proper shout out. And follow us on all social media at the Bama Standard, on TikTok at _Bama Standard. Great show, fellas. We appreciate you. Lushan, man, you need to be a regular, brother. We greatly appreciate everything you added to the panel tonight. I think you gained some fans from all of us. We appreciate everything.
Hey, I had a great time. Always awesome time being on here with you guys.
Hey, Justin.
Yes, Chris.
I want to challenge the fans to bring 2 friends with you on the next show. 2 Bama fans that you know. 2 true Stone Cold Bama fans that you know. Bring them on and invite them to the next show.
They ain't got to be Bama fan. Bring some dogs. I don't care. I bite dogs.
I want all the fans. I'll
take it.
Trash. It's football
Dan
season.
the Shakers Laffy Taffy.
I'll take it a step further. If they subscribe to my OnlyFans, I'll run a special promo for 2 weeks straight.
Oh, and my thighs will be on it.
Oh,
Ty hanging Hayes.
we can watch the football games together, fireside.
Yeah.
On that note, that'll do it for all of us here. The Final Whistle. Roll Tide.
Grown man diaper. Roll Tide, baby.